Hello and welcome back to Selenium training. In this video tutorial, we'll be looking at Selenium IDE in depth. We are going to cover these topics: different elements of a test case, command, target, value, Selenium IDE, locating strategy, and in depth into XPath. Then we'll be looking into different ways of building test cases, then running them and debugging them. So let's get started with the first topic. We have already seen that a test case is represented by a table view in Selenium IDE, and we have three columns in the table: command, target, and value. These three are very important, and each row in the table represents a test case step. Command, this field is used to specify the action to be performed by the step. Then we have target, which specifies the web element for the action. Then we have value, which specifies the input data or value for that step. Technically, in terms of Selenium core, the columns command, target, value are like function, then argument 1 and argument 2. We'll see how they work. And one more important thing is all these columns or fields are case sensitive, whether it's Selenium WebDriver or Selenium IDE. Everything is case sensitive. You should be very careful. Most of the people do mistakes. They just enter capital letters and tests are going to fail. And when they compare in terms of spelling or looking, it looks same, but why it's failing? Because they are case sensitive. Let's look into detail. I'm going to Firefox now. I'm opening Firefox. Then I'm opening Selenium IDE. Let's open our test case Yahoo search. This is the Yahoo search test case. If you see here, we have three columns: command, target, and value, and each row represents a step. For example, if you take type, we have type, then which is the command. We have target name equal to p, which is the search box. Let me execute, which is the search box. Then we have value to enter is Selenium. This is a perfect step in terms of representation. We have type, command, locator, where to do the command, and value, what to enter. But if you look at verify title, it is verify title and pattern, a string or a pattern. So this pattern is value. It's not a target or web element, but it's still under target because the whole concept is this is command is nothing but this is function, then argument 1 and argument 2. Most of the Selenium commands, they are in this format: command, target, value. That's why they have table structure like this. But coming to technical terms or Selenium core, they are function name, argument 1 and argument 2. The same thing applies to open. Open, we are opening a URL. URL, it's not a web element, it's just function name and then specifying argument 1. One more drawback here is you are limited with the 2 arguments. You can write your custom functions, but you are limited with 2 arguments. This is a limitation of Selenium IDE. The next thing is these fields are case sensitive. For example, here type. If you take the type command, if I enter capital T and try to run this, I'm just double clicking. You can see the command failed. It says unknown command type. Let me change back to small t, and you can see it's recognizing command starting with small t. Now let me go to name, and I'm changing name equal to capital P, and let's run this. You can see it's failing. Element name equal to capital P not found. If I click on find, it is not able to find. If I change it to small p and click on find, it's able to find. Let me run rest of the steps. Typing is done. Clicking on search button. Then For verifying, if I enter capital S and click on verify title, you can see it's failing. If I change back to small s and click on verify title, it's passing. So remember that these fields are case sensitive. Whatever values you enter, you should be careful. Now we'll be looking at locating strategies. Let me go back to presentation. Locating strategies for Selenium IDE. For many Selenium commands, we need a target. Target is nothing but it uniquely identifies the web element. In the context of web application, you'll be having so many web elements like buttons, input elements, and links, images. Using the target, you can be able to identify a web element uniquely. Target consists of a locating strategy. For example, format like locator type equal to locating strategy, like name equal to username, ID equal to login. We will look into these locating strategies in detail. First one is locating by identifier. It was default type earlier, but now it's not recommended because it's not supported by WebDriver. With identifier, we'll be using both ID or name. The first element with matching ID attribute is used. If there is no element with matching ID, then the first element with matching name attribute is used. For example, you can just say identifier equal to login, and login could be ID or name. You can just say login as well because it's the default strategy and it picks up the type as identifier. The next one is locating by ID, which is very important, and you can use this in most of the cases. This is very specific type, and here we are saying especially look for ID. ID equal to login, ID equal to username. Here we are specifically saying we want to look for ID only. Let's look into these two and how they work in real world. Let me go back to Firefox. I'm opening Firefox and then Selenium IDE. I'm going to SlideShare website. Let's go to new tab and SlideShare website. I hope that most of you already aware of this website. SlideShare is nothing but it's a sharing website where you can share slides, presentations, all those type of documents. I have selected this website because we'll be looking at few test cases from this website. First thing is we'll be looking at login, then we'll be looking at uploading a slide share. In this test case, we have a file attachment operation. So let's see how file attachments work. Then we'll be looking at deleting a slide share. When you delete a slide share, you will get delete confirmation JavaScript pop-up. We'll see how to handle JavaScript pop-ups as well. That's why I have selected this website. Let's get started. I'm going to login page. This is the login page of the SlideShare. We have username or email field where you can enter your username or email. Then we have password field. Let me inspect with Firebug. We have a field set tag. In the field set tag, we have two paragraph tags, and under one paragraph we have user login field, and on another paragraph we have user password field. I just want to see this specific tag, so I can select that and say edit. Let me give more spacing so that we can just see username and password fields. Now we are just seeing username and password fields. This is the username field and this is the password field. Let me create a new test case. Let me go to the first step. Here we'll be first looking at identifier. To locate username or email, to locate this field, what I can say is I can use identifier equal to user login. If I say identifier equal to user login and click on find, you can see it's matching to username field. It will look for the first element with matching ID, and that's the username field. If I give here user login, both are same. Let me change name here to user name, user login name. If I look for this one, click on find, you can see it's finding username field. With identifier strategy, it will first try to find out the element with matching ID. If there is no element with matching ID, it will try to find out the element with matching name. Here it's finding the element with matching name. You can just use user login name. There is no need to give any locating strategy type, and if you click on find, it is still going to match because the default type is identifier and it's going to take either ID or name. That is how it works. Sometimes people wonder, if I just give a word like this without ID or name, how it's going to work, because by default it's taking identifier strategy. Remember that this is not supported in WebDriver. Now let's look at ID. ID is nothing but we are specifically saying look for ID only. We can just say ID equal to, let's take user password field. I can say ID equal to user password, click on find. You can see it's matching to the password field. If I change username field with the same ID, I'm just giving the same ID and click on find. You can see it's matching to the username field now. Most important thing is whether it's Selenium IDE or Selenium WebDriver and whatever locating strategy you use, ID, name, XPath attributes or XPath relative, whatever different types of locating strategies use, it's always going to match the first element, the first occurrence matching to the locating strategy. Now let's look at name and link text locating strategies. Locating by name, and in this strategy we'll be using name attribute. We'll be saying that name equal to username, name equal to login. We are especially saying look for name property and this is the value. The next one is locating hyperlinks by link text. Whenever you have links, this is really useful. You can use the display text there and you can say link equal to link text. For example, if you have a link with sign in text, you can say link equal to sign in to represent that link. And as always, remember, always the first matching one is used. Let's look into these two and how they work. We are back to Firefox and IDE. Let's look at name locating strategy first. Here, if I say name equal to user login name and click on find, you can see it's matching to username field. And in the same way, if I say let me change the name here 123 and name equal to user password 123, click on find, you can see it's matching to password field. With name strategy, it always matches to the first element with matching name. The next one is link text. I'm looking for a link. I think this is a link. If I inspect that element, it's a anchor tag which is a link, and inside the link text is sign up for a SlideShare account. I can easily say link equal to, always good to copy paste. Let me copy it, Control C and then Control V. If I click on find, you can see it's matching. You should be careful if some mistake, for example, if I enter capital A, it's going to fail. Let's see. You can see it saying that sign up for a SlideShare account, it cannot find. Let me check forgot password. That is also a link. So I can just say link equal to forgot password and find. You can see it's matching. This is how we use link text for links. You can see the HTML tag. Here there is no name, there is no ID. Mostly for links, web developers won't be giving any name or ID. That's why we use link text locating strategy. Now we'll be going through XPath locating strategies. XPath is the language used for locating nodes in XML documents. HTML is derived from XML families, so you can use XPath for HTML documents as well. One of the main reasons why we go for XPath is when you can't find suitable ID or name attribute for an element, then you should go for XPath. There are a number of XPath strategies. We'll go through them. First one is XPath absolute. XPath absolute is nothing but it's using the complete XPath from the root HTML tag to the specific element. It's using the whole element tag path. If you see the example, you can see HTML, body, div to div, and up to the input tag. It's using the complete path. This is not recommended to use if the location is changed or if the element is under some other parent, then it's going to break. Going to the next one, which is XPath attributes. It's always good and recommended to use XPath attributes. XPath attributes is nothing but we are still focused on that element and we are trying to use other attributes to match. For example, if you have id equal to passwd and there is also another element coming before this element with id equal to passwd, then for the second element you cannot use id equal to passwd. Then along with the id you look for other attributes of the element. If there is a placeholder with password, you can combine these two. You can say I'm looking for an element with id passwd, along with that placeholder is password. That's what the example here. It says we are looking for an input with id equal to passwd and placeholder equal to password. You can look at the syntax. That's the syntax. It's 2 forward slashes, then HTML tag, then attribute 1 equal to value 1, and so on. You can give a number of attributes. There are some special cases. You can use some special XPath functions. They are contains and starts with. If you have some part of ID or name as constant and rest is changing, then you can use XPath functions contains or starts with based on your scenarios and your application. You can see the examples here. In the first example, we are looking for a element where ID contains user. The other parts of the ID may be prefix or postfix. They can be changing, but it always contains the word user. In the second example, we are looking for an element where name starts with word pass. After pass, it can be changing or some dynamic words, but it always starts with pass. These are really useful when you have ID or names, or even you can use other attributes as well like value or placeholders. When they are not constants and some parts are changing, you can concentrate on the static part and you can use contains or starts with, and you can specify conditions based on them and try to match to the elements. Let's see how XPath absolute, XPath attributes, contains and starts with, how they work. I'm on SlideShare login page. I'm going to refresh this page. Now let's inspect username field. This is the input tag representing username field. If I right click and click on copy XPath, it's going to give me absolute XPath. Let me paste that here. You can see here it's starting from HTML tag, then body, div, and up to the input tag. It's the complete XPath from the HTML root to the specific element. Actually, we need to give one more forward slash to make it work. If I click on find, you can see it's matching to the username field. Anyhow, XPath absolute, it's not recommended to use. If the position changes or the parent changes, it's going to break. Let's look at XPath attributes. I'm going to field set tag and click on edit. I'm giving more spacing so that we can just see username and password fields. Okay, we have it ready. The first one is username field and the second one is password field. If I say ID equal to user password and click on find, it's going to match password field. You can see it's matching. I'm changing username field so that its ID is user password. Now if I try with strategy ID equal to user password, it's going to match username field because that's the first occurrence. In this case, how do you recognize or how do you identify password field? We cannot use ID equal to user password. We can use name, but I'm going to delete the name for now. Now we cannot use ID because there is already a first occurrence and it's going to match to that one. In this case, XPath attributes is really useful and best to use. With XPath attributes, we will be still using that element and its attributes and try to build the locating strategy. We can say that its ID is user password. Along with that, we can look at other attributes like type, placeholder, class, and we can say its ID equal to user password and placeholder equal to password. Look for a element like that. Let's write the XPath. I'm writing 2 forward slashes, then input, then brackets. I'm saying at ID equal to user password. We need to give that in quotes. Then I'm saying and placeholder. Let's take placeholder and placeholder. We need to give at symbol. Be careful. Placeholder equal to the value, its password. We need to give that in single quotes. In single quotes, password. Let me double check. 2 forward slashes, input tag, ID equal to user password and placeholder equal to password within brackets. It looks good. If I click on find, you can see it's matching to the password field. This is how, let me maximize here. This is how we use XPath attributes. XPath attribute is really great. If the location changes or the parent changes, there won't be any problems because the strategy is based on the attributes of the element, so it's always going to match. Now we will be looking at contains and starts with XPath functions. Let me change the ID here. For example, say ID is some changing words and then user ID and then again some changing words. Let me delete underscore password. This is the ID for the username field. And let me change the name. I'm adding few characters at the end. Let's say they are dynamic and they are going to change. We are assuming that for ID attribute, user ID is going to be static. Whatever prefix and postfix digits, they are going to change. And for name, user login is going to be static, and whatever letters after that, they are going to change. In this case, what do you do? In this case, it's really good to use XPath contains or XPath starts with. I'm going to new step. I'm saying let's use contains with ID. I'm saying input tag, and within brackets I'm saying contains, and we are looking for ID, so at ID, and it's going to always contain user ID. Now if I click on find, you can see it's matching to username field. This is really useful if you have some part of the element changing. Now let's look at starts with. Here in the name we have last 3 digits always changing, so I can say input within brackets starts with, and it's at name, and it always starts with user login. Let me copy that. And now click on find. You can see it's matching to username. These two functions are really helpful when you have dynamic ID or name. They are not just limited to name or ID. You can also use other attributes like placeholder, class. Let's look at XPath relative now. XPath relative is really useful and best to locate table cells. If you go to a table web element and look at cells, most of the cases you will not be able to find any attributes. It will be very hard for web developers to give any attributes to all cells. In this case, we use XPath relative, and we'll go to the parent and find a unique parent, and from there build the relative XPath. You can see the example here. In the example here, we are saying go to a table with ID, it's Selenium course page chapter table. Go to the table, from there we have built the relative XPath. Go to table body, third row and second cell. This is how XPath relative works. It is trying to find a unique parent. Just go to top level and from there build the path to the specific element. The next one is XPath position. It is not recommended to use. This is based on the position. You can see the example here. We are saying in the whole web page, go to the 4th div tag and go to the first anchor tag. If the location changes, then it's going to break. Let's see how these work. I need to find a table first. Let's go to ABSoftTrainings website. I have got a table there. We are on home page now. Let's go to Selenium training page. Let me scroll down. You can see here we have a table. This is the chapter table. Let's say that we want to inspect this element and we want to write a locating strategy for this element. Right click and say inspect with Firebug. You can see that it's a cell tag. There is a table tag. Let me maximize. There is a table tag, and in that table it's third row and second cell. This is the cell we want to locate. If you see here, there is no ID or there is no name or other attributes. For cells, it's going to be really hard for web developers to give any attributes. It's just going to be TD like that. In this case, how to identify this element, how to write locating strategy, we use XPath relative. What we are going to do here is I want to build locating strategy for this element, but there are no attributes. Go to its parent, there are no attributes. Again, go to its parent, no attributes. Again, go to its parent, and this parent, which is table tag, has a ID, which is Selenium course page chapter table, and we can uniquely identify this element. What I can do here is from that parent I can build my locating strategy. From that parent I can build XPath relative locating strategy. Let me right click and perform some action using Selenium IDE. Let's go for asset text. Let me delete this, and if you see here, that's what Selenium IDE has done. If you look at target dropdown, that's the XPath ID relative locating strategy. It's saying that it's looking for a table with ID Selenium course page chapter table. From there, table body, third row and second cell, and it has got value to verify. If I click on find, you can see it's matching, and if I run asset text, you can see it's passing. This is how it works with XPath relative. With XPath relative, if you cannot build with that element, we'll go up to its parents up to a level from where you can uniquely build the XPath. Now let's look at XPath position. If you see the drop down, you can see there is another XPath, which is XPath position. It is nothing but it's saying in the whole web page, get me third row and second cell. If I click on find, it is still finding. If I run that one, it's passing. This is XPath position. It's just using the position, and this is not recommended to use. If the position changes, it's going to break. So far, we have seen different XPath locating strategies. Hope this is going to be really helpful to you. There are other ways of locating as well. You can locate by DOM, which is nothing but we use the document object model and we locate the elements. Then you can locate by CSS as well. You can use CSS selectors and locate based on classes, or even you can use ID with CSS. But so far, whatever strategies we have discussed, they are great and they are more than enough. You can use them in almost all cases. You can go to this W3 Schools XPath tutorial if you want to get more in-depth and advanced information on XPath. Now coming to locating strategies. Based on my experience and what works well, these are my recommendations. First, go by ID, which is really a great way. Web developers give a unique ID for web elements. Then if ID is not available or you can't use, then go for name. Then we have always for link. Link text is a great way. If these three are not working or you cannot use, then go for XPath attributes. Then finally we have XPath relative. We should be careful when using XPath relative. If the path is too long, there is a chance that it can break. As long as it is from immediate parent, like in case of tables, it's going to be fine. Then the final thing is using Selenium IDE target field to get locators. It's a great way. You can use Selenium IDE target field and find out different locating strategies. For example, I'm going back to Firefox. I'm going to SlideShare login page. Let me refresh this page. Now, if I do some action on this element using Selenium IDE, let's go for verify value. Let me get this to bottom. Right now there is no value, so it's not giving me any value. It is verify value command, and that's the target. Click on find. It's finding username field. If you click on this drop down, Selenium IDE is going to show all different ways that it can use to locate that element. You can use XPath attributes, then ID, name, CSS, XPath ID relative, and XPath position. These are all different ways that Selenium IDE can use to identify that element, and they also work in the WebDriver as well. This is really a useful feature whenever you have issues with locating an element or whenever it's confusing. You can always do an action on it using Selenium IDE and then go to the target dropdown and find out what's the best locating strategy that works for you. With this, we are done with locating strategies. We have gone through identifier, ID, name, link text, XPath, all different types of locating strategies. It's time to do some exercises on locating strategies. Go to Amazon site. I have already got it open. Go to Amazon site and write different applicable locating strategies for these elements. Let me open Firebug. First one is the search drop down. You can see it's a select tag. There is ID. You can use ID. Then we have search box. This is a input tag. Again, here there is ID. You can use ID. There is name. You can use name as well. Write different applicable locating strategies. Next one is go button. If you see here, it's an input tag, but there is no name. There is no ID. There are few attributes like type, title. Find out what locating strategy is best for this element. The next one is today's deals link. This is a link, and in the link text we have got single quote. We can use link text strategy here and find out whether single quotes in link text strategy works or not. Let's look at different ways of building test cases and few real world test cases. We will be looking at few test cases from SlideShare website. I'm going to SlideShare website. I'm on SlideShare website now. We'll look into 4 test cases. First one is login. Second one is uploading a SlideShare. Third one is deleting a SlideShare. And fourth one is logout. These are really important from end user point of view. Those are very important use cases. Let's see these test cases in action. First, I'm going to login. Click on login here. Then username, it's Bakshu_ABSoft. Password, ABSoft123. As a user, I can log in. Once login, I can click on upload. And I can upload a SlideShare. I can click on upload button, and this is a presentation which explains a real world Selenium resume. I can click on it and click on open. Here we are seeing a file attachment dialog. We'll see how to handle the file attachment dialog. The document is uploading. It is still processing, and once it is uploaded, we will be seeing this message. We'll also verify how to wait for a message and how to verify that. Then we can specify a category, let's say education. Then we can give a description, let's say Selenium resume or CV. Then we can select whether it's public or private and click on save. Once it's saved, the presentation is uploaded. You can go and view the presentation. I can go to my uploads, and here you can see all your presentations. So far I just have one presentation. You can select it and click on delete. You can see it's giving a confirmation dialog. This is a JavaScript pop-up. If you try to right click on it, nothing is happening. You can't see any Firefox context menu. There is no inspect with Firebug or any other Firefox context menus. You can click on OK, then the presentation will be deleted. After that, we are going to log out. and once log out, we are going to be on home page. Totally, we are going to do 4 test cases. We will also see different ways of building test cases. Let me open IDE. I'm opening Selenium IDE. You can build the test cases in Selenium IDE in different ways. One way is you can start with recording. You can go to recording mode and you can start with recording. Second way is whenever Selenium IDE is open, you can right click on whatever element you want and you can insert commands from this context menu. You can go to show all available commands and you can insert asset commands, verify commands, wait for commands or store commands. Whenever you right click on an element, Selenium IDE gives you option to insert commands for that element. It's specific to that element. Now we have right clicked on search box and you can see it's showing the command specific to the search box. If I right click on upload button, you can see it says asset text link equal to upload asset element present link equal to upload. It is showing command specific to the upload button. You will see some frequently used or important ones here, but you can go to show all available commands and you can see all the available commands. Let's start with our first test case. I'm going to save this test case. Select the test case and say file, save test case. I'm going to video 2. I'm saving this test case as slide share login and then save. I'm going to record this test case. I'm already in recording mode. First thing is I need to go to the home page, so I'm clicking on slide share link. Now we are on home page. I'm clicking on login button. You can see the actions are getting recorded here. I'm going to username field and I'm entering username Bakshu underscore ABSoft. Password is ABSoft123. Then click on login button. Now I have logged in and you can see the respective commands here. Let me stop recording. Let me save the test case. Now we have recorded login test case, but it's just executing the steps. There are no assert or verify commands. You should have some assert or verify commands to make sure that the test case is passed. As a part of your test case, you just don't want to have execution steps. You also need to have some assert or verify commands. What I'm going to do here is we need to verify this welcome page. Make sure the welcome page is loaded. I'm going to verify that the title is create your professional journey, and I'm also going to verify that I have this create now button. I'm going to use right click context menu to insert the commands for me. I can right click here and I can say verify title. I'm looking for verify title. Okay, I have a command verify title create your professional journey. Enter that command. After that, I want to verify that this element present. Right click on it and you can go to verify element present link equal to create now. Now my test case is complete. It looks great. I have test steps. Then at the end, I have 2 verify statements. One, I'm verifying the page title. Second, I'm verifying create now button. Let me log out and run this test case. I'm going to run from beginning. It has logged in, but the test is failed. I think we should have click and wait here. Let me change this to click and wait. and run again. Let me log out, run the test. Now it's passed. I'm going to save the test. We have seen so far two ways of building tests. One is using recording options. Second is using the context menu. The third way is manually building the test case. We have already seen that. I'm creating a new test case. I'm saving this as SlideShare upload. Click on save. This test case continues after login test case. What we are going to do is click on this create now button, then upload a SlideShare. Let me click on it and see what happens. If I click on it, it's opening a new window. It's going to LinkedIn site. This is not what we want. I think this is a promotional page or some redirection. Let me click on SlideShare logo. It's going to home page, and from here we can upload. Let's build our test case from here. What we want to do is we want to go to the home page, open and / so that it's referring to base URL. Now we want to click on this upload link. Let me inspect that. If I inspect with Firebug, this is a link and the link text is upload. I can say click and wait, link equal to upload. After that, it's going to go to the upload page and you can click on this upload link and you can upload the file you want. This is a file attachment dialog. If I inspect that upload field, this is an input tag with ID file upload and its type file. It's a file attachment. How to handle file attachments in Selenium IDE? Because when you click on it, this is a Windows dialog. Selenium IDE or WebDriver, they cannot handle it. There is a shortcut. There is a simple way. You can just say type ID equal to file upload and you can give the file path. It's going to handle that internally. We can say that type ID equal to file upload. Then here we should give the file path. Let me copy the file path. Right click and say copy as path. Let me copy. This is the file path. I'm deleting the codes. If I run this one, it should upload the file automatically. Let me run it. You can see that it's uploaded the file. It's processing. Once the process is done, we are going to see a message here saying that the file uploaded successfully. View it here. Once we perform this step, which is uploading, then it's going to be on the same page, which is slideshare.net/upload, but it's doing some processing, and after successful processing, we are going to get this text. We need to wait for this text. Once this text is there, we can proceed for the next step, which is selecting the category, entering the description. Now we have to verify this text. This is not initially available. Once the processing is done, it's going to be available. I can use wait for text. That command is available. It's going to wait for a specific text to present. I can right click on it and you can see there is wait for text command. Click on it. It's going to add, but that should be the last step. Wait for text. It has taken the CSS locating strategy. If you see different locating strategy, we have CSS, then We have XPath ID relative and XPath position. Let's stick to CSS. After this, we are going to enter category. Let me inspect this field. It's a select field which is drop down and with ID category input. I can say select ID equal to category input, and we want to select education. This is the label we want to select. I can say here value education. Then we want to enter description. Let me inspect that. It's a text area with ID description text area. Let me go to new command. I can say type ID equal to description text area, Selenium, resume or CV. Once that is done, we want to click on save and continue button. Let me inspect that. It's an input field with ID bulk upload individual publish. Let me copy that. I can say click and wait, and ID equal to bulk upload individual publish. Now our test case seems to be ready. Let me run up to here and see what's going to happen. Let me start from the beginning. Let's run this one. It's going to home page, clicking on upload button, then it's going to upload the file. You can see the file upload is done. It's processing. Now it's waiting for the text to present. It's waiting here. It waits until the text comes up. Now the text comes up and it has proceeded with rest of the steps. It's waiting at click and wait. Let me see why it's waiting. Okay, once you click save and continue, it's not going to next page. It's just changing to view presentation. So click should be enough. I can just say click and that is enough. Let me run again. It's running. Now it's waiting for the text to present. Once the text comes up, it's going to proceed with selecting category and entering description. It's very fast. Let's run this in slow mode. I'm changing to slow mode and run from the beginning. It's going to SlideShare home page. Click on upload button. Then it's going to type the file path. It's processing. You can see wait for text in yellow color. It's waiting for text to appear. Once that is done, I'm just waiting. Okay, it's done. It has entered education, it has entered description, and the test is passed. Here we have seen 3 new commands. First one is file attachment handling. You can handle file attachments by using type command. You just need to say type, the file attachment locating strategy, and the file path. The next one is wait for text. We have seen how it works. You can just give wait for text, the locating for the element you are waiting to appear, and the text. Then we have seen the select command that is used to handle drop downs. You can say select the ID or locating strategy of the drop down and the label you want to select. With this, we are done with this test case. Let me go with the next test case, which is deleting the slide share. I'm going to save this file, save. Let me say slide share delete. To delete the slide share, first we need to go to my uploads and then select the slide share and click on delete. this is what we are going to do. We first need to click on this user icon, then click on My Uploads button. Let me record that one. I'm going in recording mode. Click on that user icon, then click on My Uploads button. Once that is done, we need to click on this checkbox to select that slide share, then click on delete button. Once you click on delete, you are going to see a JavaScript pop-up. You can click on cancel or you can click on OK. If I click on OK, it's going to delete the slide share. And you can see here it has inserted a asset confirmation. How Selenium IDE is going to handle JavaScript alerts is it's going to read whatever text displayed on the JavaScript alert and click on OK. That's the default behavior. Here in the command, it's saying that asset confirmation. Are you sure you want to delete the slide share? It is saying that there is going to be a JavaScript pop-up with text. Are you sure you want to delete the selected slide share? And I'm going to click OK on it. By default, it clicks on OK. You can also handle this manually. Let me delete that and let's handle this manually. First, we need to click on this delete link. Let's inspect that. It's a span with ID JDelete common. I can say click on an element with ID equal to JDelete common, which is the delete button. Once you click on that, it's going to give the JavaScript alert. You can click on OK or cancel. If you want to click on cancel, you have to say choose cancel on next confirmation. By default, it clicks on OK. To click on cancel, just select this command. Now you can say assert or verify confirmation. We have verify confirmation as well that you can use, or you can use assert confirmation as well. Verify confirmation, and you need to give the whole text. Let me record and get the whole text. I'm going back to recording mode. I'm clicking on delete button, clicking on OK, and here is the whole text that's displayed on the JavaScript alert. I can say verify confirmation, and this is the text that is displayed on the JavaScript alert. Now it is going to click on cancel on the JavaScript alert. Again, I'm adding one more verify confirmation so that it clicks on OK. I think our test case is ready. Let me run from the beginning. I'm just running the test. It's going to uploads page. Then it's going to select the first upload. Okay, it's failing here. This is nothing but selecting a slide share. If I click on find, it's not able to find, but this is done using Selenium IDE, so I can look at other ways to locate the element. We have XPath attributes, click on find, it's not able to find. We have CSS, click on find, it's not able to find. It seems there is some issue with ID. Let me record on that element and find out. If I click on that element, now it's giving a new locating strategy, CSS equal to label.label. Let me use that. I'm using this locating strategy here. Let me delete last step. I'm going to run the test now. Now it's going to uploads page, select the first slide share and delete that one. The test is failed. I'm surprised. Let me check. Can you guess why it's failed? Okay, so this step, choose cancel on next confirmation, it should be before the delete statement, because when you click on delete, immediately the JavaScript pop-up is going to come. And I have found Another mistake, which is nothing but we are saying here, click cancel on next JavaScript alert, then clicking on delete, then here it's going to click cancel and verify the JavaScript pop-up. Again, we need to click on delete and then verify the JavaScript pop-up. We need one more delete statement, which should be just before the second verify confirmation. Now it looks good. Here we are saying choose cancel, then we are clicking on delete, we are clicking on cancel, and we are verifying the JavaScript pop-up. Here again we are clicking on delete, and once the JavaScript pop-up comes up, we are verifying and clicking on OK. Let me run now from the beginning. Hopefully it's going to pass this time. It's on my uploads page. It has selected first one. It has done nothing. Now it has deleted. Now the test case is working. First time we have clicked on cancel on JavaScript alert. Second time we have clicked on OK. This is how you handle JavaScript alerts. You can use this command, choose cancel on next confirmation, to click on cancel. And if you just use verify confirmation or asset confirmation, it's going to click on OK and verify the text displayed on the alert. Now I'm going to save the test. Let's go for our last test, which is nothing but logout. I'm going to record logout. Let me first save the test file, save test. I can say slide share logout, and let me go in recording mode. For logout, I need to click on this user icon and then click on logout. It's going to log out and go to the home page. Let's write a verification here. I can say right click and I can check for log on link. I can right click and say verify element ID equal to login. With this, our logout test is ready. Let me stop recording. There is this test which is not saved. Let me save that. Now we are ready to run all tests in one go. First slide share login, then slide share upload, then deleting the uploaded slide share, then finally log out. Let me save this as well. Before running all the tests, I just want to delete all uploaded slide shares so far. Let me log in by running this script. Okay, it has logged in. I'm going to my uploads page. I'm just saying select all and delete. Okay, there are no uploads. Let me log out. Now we are ready to run all the tests in one go. I'm saying run the whole test suite. Let's watch the application carefully. First, it's going to login test, login in the application. Okay, login is done. Second, it's going to upload a slide share. It's going to upload page, then upload the slide share. You can see in Selenium IDE the progress. It's waiting for the text to appear that it has successfully uploaded. The text has come and it has moved to next steps. Now it's deleting the slide share. It's going to click on cancel, but we will not be seeing the JavaScript alert. It's going to handle internally. Now it's going to log out. And all the tests are passed. This is really great. One more thing here. Here we have selected the first slide share to delete, but you can select all slide shares, or you can select whatever slide share you want by using XPath strategy. I'm going to save this as a test suite. Save test suite. Go to video 2. I'm saving this as slide share suite. Now we are done with looking all different test cases. We have looked at login, upload, delete, and logout, and we have looked at different commands. We have looked at file uploading, waiting for a text to present, then selecting from a drop down. We have also looked at handling JavaScript pop-ups. Let's look at different ways of running test cases. Selenium IDE allows you to run test cases in many ways. We'll be looking into all those. The first one is you can run a single test case. We have already seen it. The next one is we can run the entire test suite. We have already seen that as well. Next we have pause and resume. Whenever you are running a test and say you are finding some issues at a place, then you can pause the execution, and from there you can go step by step, or you can resume the entire test. The next one we have is stop test execution at a required step using breakpoint. You can set the breakpoint and you can stop the execution wherever you want to see how the application is behaving or any issues during execution. The next one is you can also set a start point. For example, say you have 20 lines and at line 10 or 12 you are seeing some issues, then at that particular line you can set a start point. Providing that the context is right, you can run the execution fine, and from there the test is going to run. You can save a bit of time. And finally you can run any single command by double clicking, or from the context menu you can just run single command and run the entire test case like that step by step. Let's see different ways of running test cases. We'll start with pause and resume. For example, say you are running this test and you are seeing some issues at a step, then you can pause the execution. I'm running the test, and when typing username I'm seeing some issues. What I can do is, using this pause button, I can click on it and it's going to pause the test. You can see it has entered username, but the test has stopped. It has given us the control. From there you can run step by step, or you can just say resume the test. The next one is stop test execution. I'm going to slide share upload test. Here what you can do is you can set a breakpoint, and then it's going to give you the control. From there you can go step by step, or you can see what's happening in the application, what are the issues, try to solve them, and if everything looks good you can resume the test. You can set the breakpoint by right clicking and clicking on toggle breakpoint. You can also clear it by doing the same, right click and say toggle breakpoint. Let's set the breakpoint. I'm going to run the test, and here it's going to stop the execution and give us the control. Let me run it. It's going to upload page now. Then after click and wait, it's going to give us the control back. Now it's waiting for us to do the action. I can double click on it. It's going to attach the file. Then I can see what's happening here, any issues or any errors. I can try to debug and fix them. If everything looks good, I can just say resume from here, or I can run step by step as well. Now let's look at start point. I'm clearing the breakpoint. For example, say here we have two sets of steps. We are uploading the file here. Then again we have one more set to upload the file. Let's assume that, for example, I have a step. Consider this step which is failing. What I can do is I can set a start point here. I can right click and say set start point, and if I run the test, it's going to run from here because that's the start point. It's a kind of time saving. It will not be running all these steps. It will start from here. Let's run the test. If I click on run the test case, let's see, you can see that it's starting from start point. It's not executing any steps before that. It's going to upload page, then it's uploading the file, then entering rest of the details. This is how start point works. You need to be careful when using start point. You need to make sure that the point from where you are starting, the context is valid. From there the test is going to be run. It's not going to be failed. For example, if I just want to start from here, obviously the test is going to fail because we are just waiting for the text. We are not doing file upload, or we are not opening the page itself, so it's going to fail. The final one is running step by step, which we have already seen. These are all different ways of running the test cases. Based on your requirements or in your debugging, you can use them. Let's look at different ways of debugging tests. Debugging is nothing but it's identifying and removing errors in your test cases. We are humans and mistakes may occur. Selenium IDE allows different ways of debugging your test cases. The first one is breakpoint. You can set a breakpoint at a particular place and the test execution is going to stop. From there you can see what's wrong in your application or what are the issues. Then the next one is start point. You can set a start point at a particular place and start the test execution from there. It's a kind of time saving. Next we have stepping through the test case. It's a great way. You can run step by step and see what's happening. Initially when you are building the test case, this is going to be really useful. You can run step by step, and if it all looks good, you can approve the test and you can add it to your test suite. The next one is using find button to identify matching web elements for a locator. You can give a locating strategy and click on find to see exactly what web element it's matching to. The final one is target field drop down. Whenever Selenium IDE performs an action on a web element, it's going to record all different ways of locating strategies for that element in target field drop down. You can go and see different locating strategies and find out the best one. Target field drop down and find button, they are really useful whenever you have issues with locating an element or you have different locating strategies and it's confusing. You can use these two together to debug that. We have already seen all these techniques. You can use them in your debugging.